There is absolutely no question that today is a profoundly historic moment for South Africa's national system of innovation. A moment that holds immeasurable significance for our department's strategic goal of ensuring that we build a transformed and socially responsive national system of innovation. Today we are officially launching 41 new research chairs under the South African Research Chairs Initiative, SARChI. It pleases me to state that these research chairs have been deliberately awarded to our historically disadvantaged institutions, as Dr. Moche explained, universities of technology and our new universities such as Sol Plaatje University, which is being awarded a research chair for the first time in its history. Given the stature of today's event, I wish to reflect on several issues which I believe are important for the advancement of our country's science, technology, and innovation agenda. We are launching these research chairs against a backdrop of a profoundly unpredictable geopolitical and economic environment, which is characterized by the persistence of global inequality, food insecurity, the growing threat of pandemics, climate change and environmental calamities, as well as the impact of disruptive technology. Even more disturbing in the current environment is the growing shift towards a blatant disregard for international law and multilateralism, and the use of science, and in particular emerging technologies such as AI, to commit some of the most unspeakable human rights violations, which, by the way, acts as a reminder that science, those of us who are in science, we must jealously guard science to be used for the benefit of humanity and not for the destruction of humanity. The launch of these research chairs also takes place a few weeks after we released our 2025 Science, Technology and Innovation Indicators report by our entity, the National Advisory Council on Innovation, NACI. There is general agreement that these reports provide us with a sobering and useful diagnostics on the performance of our country's national system of innovation. For instance, the NACI report observes that while we have seen remarkable strides, such as increase in female representation amongst academic staff in our universities to 52%, and also black South African academic staff increasing to 62%, we are also still facing significant headwinds. It further observes, this report, that our gross expenditure on research and development, what we call GED, as a percentage of GDP has declined to 0.61% from 0.67% before COVID. A far cry from our national target of 1.5%, which we must reach by 2030 within the 5 years that we are in. This decline is largely driven by a reduction in investment into R&D by the private sector. And this threatens our global competitiveness and our ability to industrialize and innovate. It is therefore our expectation that the research chairs that we are unveiling here today must help us to develop coherent responses to these and other observations that are made by our latest STI indicators report. That is why the research chairs that are being awarded today are consciously aligned to the priority areas of our Decadal Plan for Science, Technology and Innovation 2022 to 2032. The Research Chairs Initiative, as Dr. Moche strongly indicated, has been our principal instrument for strategic human resources development. To date, we have awarded a total of 331 research chairs, with over 200 currently operational. These chairs have been instrumental in moving the needle on our PhD production, helping us reach a point where 52.5% of our permanent academic staff now hold doctoral degrees. An important achievement. However, there is something else, though, that worries me. But never in my life have I seen people advertising that we can do literature research for you, for your PhD. We can write your PhD. We can help you to do this or that aspect of your PhD. What's the point of a PhD then? If you are going to do literature survey for me and help me analyze it and help me to write my PhD, then as far as I'm concerned, we are no longer the holder of that PhD. Now I'm worried about this, deeply worried. There are people now who are earning money by writing for others. They earn money. And that's corruption, by the way. So I think that one of the most precious possessions of any country is its qualifications. If your qualifications lose status and respect, you are finished as a country. We must join together to fight this thing. As you may be aware, historically research chairs were concentrated at a handful of research-intensive and mainly previously advantaged universities in South Africa. Today's events signals a deliberate change of this disparity by awarding 32 of these 41 chairs to black researchers. We are not just changing who does research, we are also changing where that research is done and for whom. Furthermore, in establishing the research chairs, we've also recognized that what we call a persistent innovation paradox. While we produce excellent research, we are also seeing a decline in patent registrations. From 36.3 million people in 2022 to just 18.6 in 2023. Our system, excellent at generating knowledge, but we are still not necessarily commercializing at the desired scale. We therefore view the awarding of these 41 research chairs as part of our response to this paradox. While our traditional universities may focus on discovery-led research, as stated, these new research chairs are specifically aligned to the societal grand challenges and priorities of our Decadal Plan. Your research must provide evidence-based solutions for food security, water sanitation, and the energy challenges that are facing our communities and our countries. This brings me to the vital role of what is normally called communities of practice. We are no longer funding silos. We expect our shareholders to work together to solve the many critical problems that we face in our era: structural poverty, spatial segregation, and the impacts of climate change, including this new pandemic, gender-based violence. We need solutions to these problems. Important as publishing in journals may be, as the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, frankly, I'm tired of seeing research that only ends up in journal articles, important as this is. But would also like to see research that ends up in rural communities, in villages, as well as in new innovations for new industries and new sectors of the economy. 2025 STI indicators report that I was referring to earlier shows that while our publications receive more citations than the global average, by the way, we are importing 10 times more intellectual property than we are exporting. We must use these communities of practice to resolve this conundrum. We also recognize the immense pressures faced by some of our universities regarding the supervisory pipeline. That's one crisis point, by the way. Our new universities often have modern infrastructure but lack a deep well of experienced supervisors found in older institutions. This is why we are advocating for what we call a cluster chair model. We want to see our Tier 1 chairs, for instance, at established universities, formally mentoring early career researchers at a university like Sol Plaatje University and the University of Mpumalanga, and in the HDIs. Our national system of innovation must function as a single and integrated organism. We need also to address the financial resilience of our research system. With the decline in GERD, our universities must become more adept at securing third stream income. We cannot continue to allow international grants to place a hidden burden on the South African fiscus by under-recovering operational costs. We want 5,000 PhD graduates per year by 2030. If your PhD has been written for you, you can't be innovative. To help us ensure that our research agenda as a country and continent is sovereign and not entirely donor-driven. But what ends up happening is that Africa's research agenda is donor-determined and donor-driven. We need to fight for our own sovereign research agenda in the continent. It's also important to state that as a department, we are not complacent about the role and impact of our research chairs. Now, we want to know exactly how this investment in SARChI chairs has touched the lives of women, youth, and those in our most disadvantaged communities. Our expectations for these new 41 research chairs is to help us enhance the research capacity of our historically disadvantaged institutions as well, universities of technologies and our new universities. We also expect them to be deliberate about the development and mentoring of young, black, and women researchers. Most importantly, we have a duty to ensure that the knowledge that is produced by our public universities enables our strategic mission of placing science, technology, and innovation at the center of government, education, industry, and society to be realized. Let me end then by saying very warm congratulations to all our new research chairholders. I wish you well as you undertake this significant role, and you have my full support. I thank you very much.